Okay, this is, you know, as fun as it gets. I would have showed you pulling the timing gear off the crank, but that ended up turning into a fiasco like everything else. My 3-jaw is way too big. My 2-jaw, then I got a big 3-jaw and I got a small 3-jaw and a 2-jaw, and the big 3 one would not go around because your timing gear itself, oh man, I'm telling you, I suck at this camera work. The timing gear itself was all the way against, the crank, so there was not enough space to get it behind it. So with that said, my 2 was, I couldn't leave the bolt in it because it didn't have enough space and it wouldn't reach. So I ended up getting 2 flat washers to put on there and made that work, and it boogered those grade 8 washers up. Here, I'll show you one. So, I mean, but it came off without any trouble. So putting these on, it's not that hard to do. They're keyed. This is the only thing that's really keyed because your balancer is not. But these are keyed, obviously, to keep it in time. And you do have a timing mark, that dot right there. At this point, it doesn't matter where it's at, but the keyway does. The key stayed on the crank, and it'll slide on there most of the way, but will not go all the way, generally. I'm not saying in every application it will or won't, but in this particular case, I use my little wimpy hammer, and I'm going to use the old bottom gear, just for the simple fact that I'm not going to hit bottom on it anyway. It doesn't matter if I tear this thing up, you know what I mean? So, yep. A bigger hammer may be helpful, but it is going on. And I'm still not to the end of the keys, so you don't have to worry about that. I don't have much to go. Ow, that was my finger. Different sound, she bottomed out. So that's done. I am going to put the cam in here in a little bit, but one of the biggest things I wanted to make sure was I don't forget to put, stay in front of the camera again, that I don't forget to put the tensioner on before you put the top gear on the cam, and usually that coincides with the chain at the same time. It has its own bolts. It's also from Melling. It does have its own bolts, and I'm not against it, but they're Allen head, and that would be the only thing on this engine. Then it was Allen head, so I'm going to retain the factory bolts since they're already screwed into the block anyway. And I told you the other day when I took this apart that I would show you the broken one, and that was just really odd. As soon as I put a little pressure on it, it just broke in half. And I'm seeing it could be discolored like that around the edges. I don't know if it's even going to zoom in or if it's going to stay. Doesn't matter. But I'm not so sure. It may have already had a stress crack. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate why it broke. To me, it was odd. I put a little pressure on it backwards and the thing snapped, but it is just a piece of something. I don't know if it's plastic or I doubt it's plastic. It's probably some type of a Teflon or something. I really don't know. At this point, it doesn't really make any difference, does it? It's being replaced. And you only put it on one way. You really can't mess that up. It won't let you put it on upside down, and it really wouldn't let you put it on backwards real well either. So you can only put it on one way, and that is this way. Now, mind you, the engine is upside down, but it won't affect putting the cam in. What I'm doing is I'm putting on there is a do not forget to put it on, because once you put, like I said, once you put the top gear on, the timing chain, and the top timing gear on the cam, that's it. You can't get this back on there because you just can't. So, Like I said, the Gen 3s don't have these that I'm aware of on any of the ones I've took apart, the truck engines anyway. None of them had it. I don't know about the LS1 or the LS6 or anything, but I know for sure that truck engines, 4.85360s, do not have this. So just keep that in mind. Let's see here, in front of the camera again. I'm sure there's a timing spec for this, but mind you, going into aluminum, I'm snugging it up, but I'm not going to snap it off. And with that on there and said, what you're seeing here, this pin, it's kind of a, I know it's the bottom of the screen there, but you see that deal? That is what's keeping this over. So when we put this together, that's going to retain until the timing gear, or the timing, man, I'm having heck, cam, retainer plate, and then I'm going to put the timing gear with chain on at the same time, and of course I'm going to time it. And once everything is on and tight, then we'll pull this pin out, and that'll put the pressure on. Almost all slack adjusters for chains are built that have some way spring loaded, or on timing belts they actually just use, of course, you know, they use just pulleys or rollers or you know, whatever to keep them done. But I better put the cap on this oil, or I'm going to dump this thing all over the place. So, okay. So anyway, I'm going to go get the cam out of the box. I'm going to clean all the journals, make sure that they're all clean and there's no debris in them. And I'll bring you back here in just a minute. All right. There's the new cam. Ooh, all right. It's covered with fuzz because they put a coating on it and then it bounces around in a box and gets fuzz all over it. I've wiped all the stuff off I can, but then of course, then Mr. Blue Rag makes a heck of a mess with it. So I'm going to, where you probably can't see me, I'm going to start spraying it down with some brake clean. And that's, I'm just doing the back quarter or half of it, letting it dry out. Make sure I don't see any box material fuzz on anything. No sense in starting it out already with crap on it. The advantage to this is this roller, so as long as there ain't big chunks or anything broke, you know, it actually will do pretty good. Now you can actually just put this in with oil, but the bearing surfaces where the five bearings are, you know, it would be better to have obviously some assembly lube. I don't know that I have enough to finish this. The roller part of it can actually be oiled as you go, because your lifters are going to be, I usually do it on the lifters too, but the problem with putting on this end one is by the time it gets to the other end, there pretty much isn't anything left. You know what I mean? So I'm going to put some on the back one because I can still reach it right now. I'm going to put it on all of it. I mean, like I said, I can go get, I'm going to have to go get some more anyway because I still have to, well, you know, I have most stuff together, I guess, but nope. Bang, ding, 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 ding. That's good on it. No, I'm trying to be really careful here. All right, I'll step in front of the camera for the 500th time. Try not to spray the Mustang at the same time. I'll put some on the back. Like I said, you can get to the back bearing, so I'm going to make sure that it is completely covered, because that one, there won't be much assembly lube left by the time it gets to the back one. It's all going to rub off. I know I was kind of whining about don't know what the compression's going to be like, but you know what? This thing went in there. Now that it's all together, it's got, you know, you can feel it. It's got some drag on it. That's with all the cylinders oiled, no heads or anything on it. So I think I'm going to be okay. Just a little aggravated at myself. And I'm not trying to shortchange or look like a hack, although, well, you don't, I mean, whatever. Sometimes you are what you are. But I'm just, like I said, I'm just letting you know that disappointment is part of doing these kind of jobs. Is that if it was that easy, everybody would be doing their own stuff, and you wouldn't have any reason to watch these videos, because everybody knows how to do it already, and everything comes out perfect, and you know, unicorns and puppy dogs for everybody, and you know, it's great when it happens that way, but that's not real life, guys. Not real life at all. The advantage is with this boat, this hole open in the back, you can reach your finger in it. Well, I can't, I got longer fingers anyway. And what that did was allowed me to pick that up and I beat the rest of everything else apart. Okay, as you can see, the cam is in. Now what the retainer plate does, I know I'm in front of the camera again, what the retainer plate does is it stops it from walking this direction, out. And then your cam gear, when it gets put on, is on the opposite side of the cam plate and it's bolted on, so then it won't allow it to go that direction. So that's why they have a cam plate in it, because the back is actually open. You can see the entire back of the cam. It's I can show you, probably dark, but because you have the plate, that back engine plate goes on there that's got the rear main seal, and that holds it also. Let's see, there's the back of the cam right there. So, you know, it's, you can reach your finger. I can reach my finger in there and kind of line it up and push it as needed. So, okay, with that said, I'm going to get the retainer plate unboxed and get it put on. Then I'm going to turn the crank over, line up my timing marks, and get my timing gear and chain, and I'll bring you back as I put all that stuff together. Okay, here we go. Cam plate, milling number MF127. Made in China. Isn't that great? It came with its own bolts. I don't know what you're seeing. They already have Loctite on them. That's something that I don't get into a whole lot of is Loctite. I am not against putting Loctite, and there's some things I do Loctite, but I don't do a lot of stuff because, you know, let's face it, may have to take it back apart again. But you know, the biggest thing is I don't do it. So generally I don't have any trouble, and I work on my own things, so when something happens I can always I'll recognize it, or you know, hear it or see it or whatever. But I've never had anything besides a couple loose lug nuts, because I was an idiot, ever really happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. I did have a torque converter come loose. Don't forget, side with the gasket. Where you at? Side with the gasket goes against the goes against the block. Remember, this is the countersunk part number, not the flat plate part number, because there are different. And it came with its own bolts that were countersunk. It's possible that this is the generic one now that fits all of them, and it comes with its own bolts, so you don't have to, you know, so you don't have to worry about which way it goes. I do not know. I don't remember. On my phone, I have pictures of both part numbers. I have to look to see which ones they are. I just don't remember. But anyway, oh, I just heard the door. Somebody's here. Okay. Now that I booted that. So, remember I think it's a T40. I'll look at the number here in a minute. It's not good enough. I'm not jamming at home yet. So I'm trying not to rush through this, but I really got to get this thing done. And I'm hoping that everything is fine. I'm probably reading too much into it, or I'm going to get barbecued on the comments. Like I said about the piston rings not being right. And I agree. Like I said, I'm disappointed. And I know that you can run these, you know, but even out of spec some. What I'm concerned about is noise and like piston slap and obviously oil usage can also be a problem when you do stuff like this. Underpowered because of the lower compression. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen. I don't, you know, I don't know what to say, except we're gonna give it a shot. Might give somebody an idea of what you can and cannot do. You know, I don't know. You know, I'm a bit aggravated about it, but I can't. Made my bed, I'm gonna lie on it. I'm gonna line this up. And you can hear it, maybe you can hear it. And where's my mark go? There it is. We want that dot, which you may or may not be able to see. We want that thing lined straight up. And get your wrench out of the way, untie your shoe because it got hung on something. And there's the timing mark right there, which will go to the bottom. One thing I do not have is the bolt. Okay, before we put that on there, got the same thing. This plate, this rides on that plate. So you want to make sure that it's got plenty of lube. You don't want that thing starting up dry, metal to metal. And what you're going to do, now that I've covered everything, is make sure it's lined up at the bottom. The cam, there's a pin on the cam, so you need to turn that to where it's going to be. Oop, cam's trying to fall out the back. Like I said, what this thing does is stop it from coming out. The gear stops it from falling backwards. Come on, come on. Back over there. Trying to see where that's going to end up. That line-up pin looks like it's going to be straight across. And put your chain on down at the bottom. And if it's off a little bit, yep, let's go to the bottom. Like I said, it's going to be tight, and I know it's going to be tight because of that, but that's how that works. And make sure you're lined up on your pin, which I'm off just a tad. Might be able to turn this with my finger. Yeah. That's a bit oiled up. Okay, I see the pin. Oh, there it is. Maybe if I hadn't have, come on. Come on. It's one thing I didn't check this to make sure that that pin would go over that gear. Actually, off. And I'm actually too far. I know my head's in the way. I'm fighting that pin. I'm just pushing it back and forth. Alright, I'm having some issues here. Although it seems like it's getting close. I gotta get the bolt because I left it over here in the other cam. It's not helping anything. Oh, that's beautiful. What I'm actually after was to try to get this and turned so I can line that pin up a little bit better. Keep pressure on it without having to reach around the back. I gotta get you in front of you here for a second. And the cam fell clear out. That's not what I wanted. I gotta start from scratch. No, don't put that down. This is the fun part of building an engine by yourself. You lube everything up so it's nice and lubey, and then it won't stay put. It doesn't help that the engine stands are always facing backwards, you know what I mean? Leaning back, I mean. So let's line it back up again. No, that's nothing good. I know my head's probably in the way. Come on. One notch, all I want. Oh, I didn't say two. Oh, I said one. All right. I had the rear plate on. See, this wouldn't be a problem. Now the cam just turned way too far. I don't even see the pin now. And I still don't see the pin. Boy, oh boy. Okay, the pin's half in the hole. Wish I could show you this, but it's just not going to work. Now, I'll have to go back on this side. Stepping on my shoelace, guys. I got to retie my shoe. It got hung on the pin sticking out of the engine stand, down the bottom and on the loop. You know how it is. Okay. I don't see the pin at all. I mean, I don't see it at all. Oh boy, this is fun. Everybody needs to do this. Yeah, that's just not cutting it. I gotta get it back off there. It turns so far. I never even seen it go by. I know my head's in the way again. No, off a tooth. I said a tooth, not 6. Alright, where are we at now? Almost. No. As soon as I put a little pressure on it, cam come out. Something about these slack adjusters. You know what? I'm sitting there. Aggravated at myself. If I could put it on a different way, it would, but you can't. You gotta do it this way. Now, see, the pin's lined up, but it's not pulling through for some reason. Not really sure why it's doing what it's doing. And it just turned. Now the pin's not even close. So I am going to fight this off camera because there's no sense of you standing here watching me, unless you think it's as fun watching me fight this, which, you know, I can't do it like this. So something's not right. Why don't we just see something here? Let's leave the chain off. And let's see if this thing will even go on there. No. There it went.
Rain.
I hear rain. Didn't expect that. Glad I got mowed over today. I'm off just a little bit. I'm going to slightly put some pressure on this. No, I'm not going to jam it in there. I just want to see if this thing will... it kind of sounds like hail, but I don't think it is.
Nope.
Yeah, it'll go on there. I don't know why it's being this way, but it is. I want to give her one more try. Then I'm going to go eat my blizzard in peace. Okay, wait a minute. Let's line this up here while we're standing here, so we know where it's supposed to be. Come on, let me have it back. That pin's tight, I can guarantee that.
It's like a bicycle chain.
It would be nice if it was on a bicycle instead of me fighting it right now. As my wife talking in the background, making fun of me like everybody else was. Alright, try this one more time. Keep pressure on the back. And I wish the thing would turn just a little. Did that just turn? Oh, it absolutely did.
Need a hammer?
No. Thou shalt not beat on timing set. This camera's dropping insane. He's falling out the back. So I'd like to have that back plate on. I really would. Okay, I told her I wasn't going to use a hammer. I did. It's on the pin, I promise. No, it ain't now. Alright guys, I'm tired of fighting this in front of you. This just isn't working out. So, I'll bring you back when it's done and tell you how much struggle I had. I can't get it apart now, so. It's partially on, it started on the cam, it's just the pin's not lined up. I mean, it's close, but it's off by just a little bit. Now that I tapped it on the cam, now I didn't want to come off cam because it's kind of probably sideways a bit. But anyway, don't do what I do. Probably not a good idea. I can't get my fingers in there because of that. Man, I wish this would turn and stay where it belongs. About lost half of the lube I put on there because I've been messing with it. Man, it's just, it just will not stay lined up. See, what happens is then when you go to move this, it moves the cam and then it takes it out of. Seriously? Watching the cam. Oh, now it turned too far. I'm done, guys. I'll bring you back.